Hello friends, I am Dr. Ruchika Garg, Associate Professor and Consultant Gynecologist, and today we will know about what is increased prolactin levels. Whenever you go for an infertility checkup by a doctor, the doctor frequently advises you a serum prolactin test. So what is this? So prolactin, it's a hormone, it's secreted by the pituitary gland, and the normal levels of prolactin are 10 to 32 nanogram per ml, and these may vary according to the some lab also, but this is the general. So what this prolactin causes? If there are increased prolactin level, you may land into galactorrhea, amenorrhea, infertility syndrome. These are the three main symptoms. That is discharge from the breast, galactorrhea which is milky, infertility because there is failure to conceive, because there is oligo-ovulation or anovulation. It affects the ovulation cycle, and especially when the women are lactating, when they feed their child, the prolactin level is increased because of the drop in the levels of estrogen and progesterone hormones. And it also causes amenorrhea. The women have either less periods, hypomenorrhea, or the duration of cycle increases, or there is a history that the prolonged duration of amenorrhea is there, 2 months, 3 months, or this is the cycle, the periods come in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, or 45 days interval. So what are the causes of hyperprolactinemia? So there are some physiological causes, like during sexual intercourse there is nipple stimulation, or due to exercise or stress induced, and certain drugs like tricyclic antidepressants, metoclopramide, cimetidine, and use of certain drugs, dopaminergic antagonist drugs. It can also increase the prolactin levels. And the psychotic patients, when they come to us, when we take the history that this woman does not had period for the last 3-4 months or 1 year, 2 year, and it is known that she is on antipsychotic treatment, then we can very well know that the serum prolactin test should be done. Whenever a prolactin is done, we should always get a TSH along with that, because hypothyroidism is associated and both they coexist with each other. Now, how to differentiate between the milk, which is galactorrhea, it is in the hyperprolactinemia, and that due to breast diseases. It's typically a milk secretion, whereas in breast diseases it may be serous, watery, clear, or mucoid, pus-like. And then other things like pituitary macroadenoma and microadenoma, they are the most frequent cause of hyperprolactinemia or increased prolactin level, and craniopharyngioma in the hypothalamus is also a cause. So pituitary microadenoma is if the size of the pituitary tumor is less than 1 centimeter, and macroadenoma is more than 1 centimeter. So if the levels of prolactin are more than 200 nanogram per ml, then it's an indication of MRI of the brain and MRI of the pituitary. We can also go for a CT brain, but MRI is the most sensitive imaging modality of choice. And if the prolactin level is between 35 to 100 nanogram per ml, then prolactinomas are infrequent. And stress and sleep can also increase the prolactin level, especially the midday sleep. Now, diagnosis we have seen with MRI. Now, treatment, there are dopaminergic agonist drugs like cabergoline and bromocriptine. So bromocriptine is 2.5 milligram once a day, then twice a day it is increased slowly and tapered off also very slowly once the prolactin levels are achieved normal. What are the side effects of bromocriptine? You may experience postural hypotension and nausea, vomiting. But cabergoline has a longer T-half duration of action. It is about 65 hours to 72 hours. So once or twice a week dose is sufficient in case of cabergoline. That is Monday and Thursday twice a week, or Tuesday, Friday likewise dose schedule. And once the patient, after the prolactin levels are achieved normal, the patient very frequently conceives. So the cause should be known, and once the patient conceives and she is pregnant, we should remove the prolactin. I mean cabergoline and bromocriptine, they should not be continued in pregnancy, but the tapering should be very slowly. If we are taking twice a week, then shift to once a week, and then if we are taking 0.5 milligram twice a week, then 0.5 milligram once a week, then 0.25 milligram once a week, that way, and then a maintenance level should be It should not be totally tapered off. Level should be maintained. So if you have any suggestions, comment box you can ask, and subscribe to this channel for authentic information from a professor. Bye bye. Keep liking.